Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Arit, and this is Emotional Billionaire. I had this week where my patients were just telling me over and over again, different people, about how much I had influenced them and how they don't know who they would be without me and how thankful and appreciative they are for the ways in which I've helped them love being themselves and enjoy their life and confidence that they never experienced before. And as corny as this sounds, I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna burst. There's too much love in me. I have to prism it out into the world, put all of this love and happiness and all of this joy and beam it back out into the world because I cannot contain it. It's too much love. Too much love. And I know too many people don't have enough love. And I am not a time billionaire or a financial billionaire or an energy or health billionaire, but I am an emotional billionaire. And so I'm going to try to give you as much of this sense of joy and love and how you can replicate it and create it because I want you to experience this. It's so amazing to feel. So that's a big reason why I'm doing this. And I'm really excited. My kind of silly way of describing who I am identity-wise is that I'm an off-white, plump AF, irrepressibly happy clinical psychologist who was raised by puppets. My mom is a puppeteer, and you kind of need to know that to understand my vibe. I'm like a philosophy major who was raised by puppets, so that combination is also kind of interesting. He's amazing. I just feel a sense of miracle and awe every day. I am so excited to see him. We have been together now more than 22 years. And people talk about ups and downs in marriages, and the truth is we have not experienced that. We have not had one day in 22 years where we went to sleep without resolving any disagreements. We've gotten so good at talking through conflict, at naming what we want, at helping each other, and that sense of security and being on a team. These are things that most people aren't taught. And after we hit 20 years together and after I hit 40, I was like, okay, that's it. I am declaring myself an expert on happiness. I have been treating people now for 2 decades, and I want more voices of people who are actually happy. So in those 22 years, Paul and I went through a decent amount of difficult things, including long distance engagement and marriage. Career stuff, graduate school was quite difficult and brutal. But also I had cancer. And at the age of 28, I had breast cancer, and he was amazing. And we've been through the hard stuff together. We've had family have to live with us. We've been through a lot of, supporting a lot of people in our lives. And even with all of that, in those 22 years, I cannot even describe how exciting it is to know that we are always on the same side, that we are always on the same team, and then it's me and him versus the world. Sorry, no, that's wrong. It's me and him versus the problems. What am I talking about? The world's awesome. We're part of the world. When I was going through chemotherapy, I could be nonverbal for weeks. I wasn't able to input information. I wasn't able to make sense. Paul once came in and said, "Oh, do you want me to turn off the space heater?" And I said this way more slowly because I could barely talk. "No, it's my entertainment," right? I'm listening to a space heater. And I don't mean like what's now called toxic positivity. I've been calling that the cheerfulness imperative all these years. I'm not talking about pretending, right? Because if I'm sad, I'm sad. And if I'm upset, I'm upset. And I'm really good at just expressing my emotions as I feel them. That's part of being happy. But it also means that even during suffering, there's moments of joy, moments of that awful week when I got diagnosed with cancer. Paul and I had one of the most amazing moments in a rainstorm, covering ourselves in towels, hugging each other, being drenched with torrential rain, and just enjoying the sensations of rain. Any Studio Ghibli Totoro fans? Because of before cancer, I didn't look like I was white, is the best way that I can describe it. I'm Middle Eastern, and people tended to think that I was Latina. People thought I was Latina. Black people thought I was either mixed or Latina. And then for years in Texas, white people thought I was Polynesian. And they would walk up to me regularly in a store and just say, "What are you? What are you?" And then they would do the hair touching thing. and just treat me like I was this, they would tell me, oh, you're so exotic. What are you? And so I've maneuvered society mostly not as a white person, but I have radical, my skin's a different color, my hair, all of these pieces. Now I have white passing privilege, and it's a very different way to experience society. And I will be talking more about that. And Paul and I, and you'll be hearing a lot about him. He is my favorite topic of conversation. We were talking, and I was saying how, my friends and family think that they know how happy we are, but I don't think that they actually can comprehend it. The amount of joy and love and just ecstatic, yay, we're alive, and yay, we're in love, and yay, we have confidence, and being yourself is so fun, being ourselves is so fun, is just a little bit unimaginable to most people. And I was saying, it's like if you're an emotional millionaire, people can sort of, oh, wow, she's wealthy. But a billionaire, we can't actually imagine it. So I am one of the most rigid people I know when it comes to honesty. I basically don't say anything that I don't believe is true. And it's just not even an option for my brain. I don't like the idea that I'm forging other people's realities for them. And I'm just always truthful. It doesn't mean I'm going to say all the things I'm thinking, but anything I say is something I believe. And I am really rigid around it. I'm not expecting anyone else to keep to this standard. So I am not somebody who will tell you to do something that I don't follow my own advice. I think it's really important that I think we act based on our deepest values and beliefs. And I'm not going to tell you something I don't actually believe if it's about, how to live a happy, good life. So one of my examples is in graduate school, I would get in trouble. I was the balance person for taking vacation. Paul and I were long distance then. I would want to see him. I would go on weekends to see my sister, who was, needed my support at the time. I have 3 siblings. I'm the oldest of 4. She was 10 years younger. Very much I'm an oldest child. Anyway, and my supervisor was mad at me because she wanted me to take on extra things that I knew I didn't need. And I was right, I didn't need them. And I said, I think it's my professional responsibility to model what it means to take vacation. I'm going to model having a healthy lifestyle. If someone tells you, oh, go take care of yourself, and then they don't actually themselves, they're actually telling you is, if you want to be at my level, don't do it, right? We very much celebrate people denying themselves things, and we treat it as sort of morally superior. And that causes a lot of emotional damage on people. So I'm not going to tell you to do things. Part of the way that my honesty works is that I live what I preach. And I really do believe that if someone is telling you what to do or how to do it, and they can't do it themselves, they are missing a key piece of the puzzle. And that's a really important thing, as I'm trying to give you, what does it mean for an actual happy person to be telling these things? So there is this, ecstatic love piece. I have having cancer in my 20s and all of the physical ailments and problems that have come across that. I'll be talking about that too. I can't even wear my wedding ring. My hand is super swollen. I'm having a lymphedema flare up right now. It's a whole thing. That sense of how do you build it in? So, okay. So let's say you're not going, I know I'm talking really fast, but another part of my AREAT approach is tangents. I'm not going to be quite as focused in the longer videos. The shorter ones I will be, but some people like linear conversation and some of us like tangential web thinking conversations. And our brains are not getting what we need. I do not like linear conversations. I don't even love monologuing that much. I can't wait till I get enough of you out there watching and I can do live streams and have you talk to me and do call-in stuff, because conversation is really the fun of it. But linear stuff hurts my brain. It's just exhausting. A day where everyone has had to take their turn, my brain wants to cry. So I'm going to give those of you who need more of that web thinking a bit of a relief with me going off topics, and I will eventually return. Pre-cancer, I was amazing at it. I could do 20 different tangents at once. I would keep track of them. 5 hours later, I'd be okay, go back to here. Chemo kind of gave me brain damage and I can't quite do that many, but I can still do a decent amount. I'm going to think in tangents. I also am going to babble a little bit more, I think, because that's how you get my best thoughts. My patients have sort of learned this, and I was very much trained to be more quiet, but I have learned that people get my best thoughts and my best reframes and breakthroughs and insights if I can babble my way into it. One of my patients calls it babbling in solidarity, or maybe we came up with that phrase together. But anyway, so I will be babbling in solidarity, even though I'm technically monologuing right now, at least for now. You know, in the financial world, we often take financial advice from people who have a ton of money. We thought, oh, what's their way? How did they become wealthy? And emotionally, I think that we need to keep listening to the happiness researchers, but we also need to listen to people who are happy themselves. And I think that a big piece that is missing from the whole world of wellness is that actual in your gut, in your core sense of knowing yourself, sense of confidence and happiness and joy. You know, being alive is so amazing. It's just like, it's where the word awesome originally came from. And people are not going around feeling this joy of being alive. They're going around feeling worried or feeling inadequate or feeling scared or projecting competence. And I don't want you to have to do that. I want you to feel it inside of you. You know, I want you to feel internally, what is it like to say, oh my God, this is amazing. I love being me. I love the world I'm living in. And that is with all the bad things that are happening. Now, the idea that people could watch this and then use it and take a piece of that and make their lives better, it's just so exciting. So exciting. So exciting. I'm going to remind you to subscribe and like if you have enjoyed this. It just means that you'll get more of my content. That YouTube algorithm likes that. If you look in the details below, you can see where to get the freebies I mentioned, but also links to the videos where I'm going to be talking about those in much more depth because I think that is important. I'm super, super excited. I can't wait to hear what you think about this. I want to hear more. You want to hear of more or less, questions, comments. You know, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but I do want to hear from you because, as I said, I like dialoguing. And so tell me what you're thinking and what you want to hear more about and what you want more of for yourself.